From the Ohio School Boards Association, I'm Scott Kerfin. This is Leading the Way, brought to you by our great sponsor, Pappas and Associates. They're shaping policy with integrity. Tom Patterson is a school board member at Sandusky City Schools. He is OSBA's 70th president. He's the association's 2025 president, and he is with me today because I want to introduce him to you. So Tom, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Scott. I'm honored to be here.
If you had to describe your journey from a first-year school board member to now president of the Ohio School Boards Association, it's a couple decades, I think, journey, right? How would you describe it?
Education is changing continuously. And one of the things that I believe is that the folks who are running for the school boards, they need to be flexible and change with the times. We're just in that length of time, how we educate our children is different than what we are right now. I remember when I first came on, it seemed like we want to have the children when they're graduating, or the students when they graduate, to go to college. Well, now we're thinking that there's other means that they should be going to,
right,
like into the careers,
right,
the career tech programs, and it's being pushed. And I'm out of that career tech program. I'm a graduate from high school where I took some of those classes and stuff like that. And my degree in education is in industrial education, engineering, technology. And I understand, and we need those people.
When did you first become interested in running for school board? What drew you to that role?
That's really something hard to say. I've always been involved with different activities at the school. There was nothing there that came out and say, oh, I'm going to go in there and try to change something. I'm not that way. You get in there and you work with people, and then you make changes collectively with individuals. But there was nothing there that really stepped out. It was something that I felt that I wanted to do. I was always interested in doing things for the community. I was in many community activities, whether it was on the YMCA boards or Red Cross boards. I was always involved with the community and doing community things for whatever.
And your story is not unique amongst the many other board members across
Correct.
the state as well. Tell me about your district. What's the community like? How are your buildings organized? And how many students does your board serve?
Yeah, we got about 3,200 students, give or take.
Yeah.
We went through a major building program about 3 or 4 years ago. We built 3 brand new buildings with the Ohio School Board of Facilities Commission.
Right.
And the way that is set up right now, we have a preschool K building. We have a first and second grade building, which are brand new buildings.
Yeah.
And then we have an intermediate building, which is 3 through 6th grade. Our middle school is at the high school now.
Okay.
And they're right alongside each other. The intermediate school and the high school, they're separated by Memorial Drive. And so we eliminated quite a few buildings. We had at one time 7 different grade schools.
Oh, wow.
And community grade schools, or neighborhood schools they were. And it was not unusual to be jumping from building to building.
Right. And
that teacher would be at one school at that year, and they'll be at another one next year. So we got them more centrally located. All the teachers should be on the same page. Like all the third graders should be on the same page what they're doing. So it's easier for us, but still we run into our concerns.
Yeah. You've been on the board obviously a long time. When you've talked to students, families, teachers, what are their priorities for students after graduation? I think you touched on this a little bit when you opened up. Are there any particular opportunities or initiatives or creating opportunities? I mean, what is the community really excited about?
One of the unique things about the Sandusky City Schools is that we have a comprehensive school district. We also have the other end of it where we do our career tech programs. So we can have children graduating from our school district that can go out into the world and maintain a good, comfortable living in industry, whether it's welding or carpentry or whatever. And it's really very positive with our community. Unfortunately, our community is changing. At one time, we had several manufacturing businesses, and they've either closed or relocated in the southern part of the country. And so we have that to contend with. And at one time, we would have a robust community where we had, roughly 2,000 students just in the 4 grades at high school. Now we don't have that. And it's all due to the economics in the area.
Right.
We're a diverse school district. We welcome it. We work with everyone there, and we try to give everyone the best education, whatever that student is. We want to try to give them as best education, and so they can go as far as they can. Now, yes, some of them are going to college, but some of them are going directly into the workforce and being very, very productive.
Right. Being an urban district, I know there are unique challenges for urban districts. What are some of the challenges your district is facing, and how has your board handled those challenges?
That's a tough question, because we're continuing to modify our programs with those changes. We have a good career tech program going on right now, and we see after graduation where are they coming back and going into our programs, whether it's nursing. And one of the unique things was that we started a barber school. We have a cosmetology school, but we started a barber school. And here are these individuals, men and women, they're looking for a career that they're making a change in their life. And we're making an impact on them. A definite impact. And having them go to their graduation, I have never seen anyone so elated and happy when they were coming there, because they have a new life. And but that's like many things that we're doing. But the economy, that hurt us. We had 2 big automotive plants in town, and now we just have one of the parts plants, and there's quite a few people working there, but still not the numbers that we used to have.
Well, you talked about some of the challenges, but then I want to ask about what are you most proud of in your district and what you guys have been able to do?
One of the most things I'm proud of is when we can hand them that diploma and shake their hands and tell them well done. That is what I'm proud of. And see their parents take pictures of them and what they see in their eye, because some of our students, that's going to be the biggest day that they've ever had. And knowing that, you want to make it special. And we try to do that as best we can. But as far as personally building the new school buildings, they're wonderful. I hate to say this, but it makes you want to go back to school and be a student there.
I've been in some of I have not been in your district, but yes,
and they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous, and it's just amazing, And they're all air conditioned, but then when they get into the senior high school, some of those rooms aren't air conditioned, and they got to go backwards. So that's the next thing on our list, is to try to educate air condition the high school, and that's a major thing, because they're all boilers, and you got to run ductwork, and it's expensive.
So as you take on your year as president, every OSBA president serves a year. It's actually kind of a 3-year leadership term, because you were president-elect for a year last year. This year is your presidency, and then you'll serve as the past president. What's your hope for public education as a whole? Obviously, we got a new budget cycle coming up at the State House, and we're hearing some talk of the sustainability of funding.
Right. My main concern is that, and you'll probably be hearing a lot about this from me, is that we need to get our state legislators into our buildings, invite them in, and show them all the great things that are going on with public education. And one of the unique things that I do at our Capitol Conference is I go to the student achievement.
Yeah.
And seeing the things that they're doing. I spoke today that one of the individuals that I saw at the Capitol Conference at the student achievement, that if he was a car salesman, I probably would have bought a car from him. Because, they're into it.
Yes.
They're into it. And that's going on in all of the buildings across the state of Ohio. And I think that our state legislators need to see that.
Yeah.
And I understand that education is just one facet of their job. They have other things that they're doing, whether it's health benefits or whatever. Yeah. There's many things that state legislator has to do, and I understand that. But when you're making decisions, I feel as though that they need to come in and see what's going on. And so when those decisions are being made, they understand what's going on at Sandusky City Schools or Olentangy or Lima Schools or whatever. They understand what's there because they've seen it.
Yeah. You have you've been very involved with OSBA over the years. You've served as president of the Northwest region.
Correct.
Been on a lot of committees. I wanted to ask you, just and to talk to some of our listeners who are obviously board members. How important is it to get involved in OSBA? You've done it, obviously.
One of the unique things that is there is the networking.
Yeah.
More than anything else, it's the networking that goes on when you're sitting there having a cup of coffee or having dinner or having lunch with somebody, and you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel, because possibly they have done that in their own district and they've gone through it, and they can help you. And you are helping them in some ways too. But the networking I see is more than anything. My first experience when I went to an OSBA meeting, Marty Rothy,
who's our region manager.
Yes,
for the Northwest
region manager.
Yeah.
She's a graduate of Sandusky High School.
Okay.
She graduated 3 years after I did. And I knew her, but I didn't know her because I was a senior and she was a freshman. You didn't hang out with those people, but going into the meeting, she says, "Tom, you need to get involved in this." Okay. If Marty says that to me, I'm going to really think about it. I'm going to really think about it.
Yeah.
And no truer words was said, because it's been fulfilling for me, because it's helped me to be a more effective board member.
Yeah.
More effective. And I want to continue that effectiveness in this role that I'm playing right now, and to encourage others, board members, to come to those meetings. Like I said, the networking is going on phenomenally, and I have made so many friends and acquaintances, and I can't say how many people that I've met. And the other unique thing is that everyone has the same feelings, the same drive, and it's about kids.
Yeah.
And if you love kids, that's where you belong, and you can accomplish much.
Yeah, and I think what you've been saying. I know this year's past president, Sally Green, who was president last year, talked about, I remember her story. She told me, I just thought OSBA did this big conference every year, that we do in Columbus, but it's much more than that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that working out of the Northwest District, because those are the school districts that are close to you, some of them may be in your same conference.
Right.
And you'll see them at an athletic event or maybe at a choir or a band competition, and you'll say, "Oh, I know that guy over there. I'll go over and say hello to him. Hey, how you doing?"
Right.
And you sit down and you talk for 5 or 10 minutes about things, and hey, it's great. It's great. The networking that goes on is phenomenal, and I think that is one of the things that folks need to do, and the training. When you come in, you can't have an agenda.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a new board member. You can't have an agenda. And the OSBA will give you the training to be able to navigate your first years through being a school board member if you want to be that effective school board person.
Yeah. And if I can drop a little plug in here, we do have our
absolutely
we have some training coming up for first term board members on at the end of the month here in January that you can register for. We've got Beyond the Basics, which is mastering your board leadership, coming up at different locations in February. So all that information is on the website for members to see and to please register, because as you say, it makes you effective as a board member.
And if you just want to be a person on the board that you are just saying that, well, I'm a board member of your Board of Education, but if you want it to mean something, and you have that desire, and you're passionate, you have to be involved with OSBA to get yourself trained. And it's a learning experience. I'm learning right now. I learned stuff today in our meeting that we had. I'm continually learning.
Yeah, the lifelong learning.
Yes,
that's what we do.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, Tom, thanks so much for being here, for making the trip down from Sandusky.
Absolutely.
Any final thoughts?
Well, I'm not taking this position lightly. It's truly an honor and a privilege to serve and to work with everyone here at OSBA. And I hope that I can continue the success of OSBA. But my focus is going to be, and I'm going to say it again, to tell the districts you need to get your legislators into your buildings, and not to tell them what's wrong with themselves, but show them what you're doing.
Right.
Show them the good things that you are doing with the kids. And that is far more important. I
can tell you, and I've been to some of these districts, and just how much education has changed since I was in high school.
Absolutely.
When I graduated in 1989, I mean, you look at how we're preparing students for the workforce. It is amazing what public schools are doing.
Well, I graduated quite a few years before you did. And I'm not afraid to say it. I graduated in 1967, and the focus was on going to college.
Right.
My parents had a family business, and it was like, you're going to work in the family business.
Yeah.
And I did. I became a journeyman tool and die pattern maker. But when things started going south as far as industry and things like that, I found that I thought I would like to teach.
Yeah.
And I went back to school. And got my degrees and did my student teaching. That was about it.
Yeah.
Because I graduated in December and there wasn't any job openings, and Tom and Cindy had 3 children, so I went to work for another family organization, and I spent 41 years there. Yeah. And it was a good move because the folks who I worked for were very community oriented. And when I was involved in other things, of course, but when I said I would like to run for the Board of Education, they all sat back in their chairs and said, fantastic. And they gave me the latitude to be able to do that and also do my position and things like that. And I can't thank them enough.
Well, Tom, again, thank you for being here. And our listeners can read much more about your journey coming up in the OSBA February Journal magazine. We have a full feature story in there with you and some photos from your great district. So, again, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for taking the time with me. Appreciate it.
And we want to thank our sponsor, Pappas and Associates. They're shaping policy with integrity.